Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of How to Rip. In today's episode, we're going to talk about intermediate surfing mistakes. We've covered a lot about beginner surfing mistakes, but what about for those of us who surf a little bit better than a beginner? So today's video is all about intermediate level surfers and common mistakes that they make and how to fix them. So if we start at the beginning, a lot of intermediate level surfers have progressed from their beginner board onto something a little bit more high performance. Now while the world is your oyster when it comes to surfboard selection at this level, we have to understand that certain boards go well in certain waves, and it's really hard to find a board that goes really well in all wave types. So we need to have multiple boards for multiple wave types.
So let's start by looking at high performance boards. High performance boards have more rocker. So if you look at it from the side, you'll see that they're more like a banana. These type of boards allow you to surf waves that have more shape, that have more curve. So if you have a board that has more rocker, they allow you to control your speed more efficiently. High performance surfboards are usually ridden slightly longer than a surfer's height. They're also thinner in regards to width and thickness. This creates an incredibly responsive surfboard which fits perfectly into better quality waves. In saying that, they can go well in waves like this that are a little bit smaller and a little bit fatter. Another thing to discuss is the type of rails that a surfboard has. Surfboards like this that are high performance tend to have harder rails because they make the board easier to turn. Boards with softer rails allow the board to be more forgiving and slightly less responsive. So a board like this, a high performance small wave board, tends to give you the best of both worlds, where you have slightly less rocker, slightly softer rails, thicker, and they become wider and they become shorter. And surfers often increase their volume when they surf a smaller board like this, which allows you to generate speed, perform turns in steeper sections, and still go well in less quality waves. These boards help you generate speed more easily. Generally, surfers ride these kind of boards a few inches shorter than their normal shortboard. For example, this board here is a 5'8", and the board that I was surfing as my high performance board was a 5'10". And as the waves start to get fatter and slower and smaller, we can even step down to something like a high performance fish like this, which helps you generate more speed, which is thicker, shorter, flatter, and more forgiving. These kind of boards are fun to surf in waves like this. They still allow you to perform good turns when you're actually presented with a good section, but they make generating speed much easier. If you try to surf a high performance board in waves like this, it could be very frustrating unless you were quite a good surfer. This board here is even shorter than my high performance small wave board. This one is a 5'2".
One common mistake that surfers make is performing the wrong turn in the wrong section. Now this can result in you losing control of your board or losing speed and then falling behind, and the wave will run off without you. That can be incredibly frustrating. So let's break down section selection and the maneuvers that you should perform in a variety of different sections.
So there are certainly no set of rules for what turns you perform in what sections. I'm just going to talk about some basic principles that you might want to consider. So if we have a look here, you can see a steeper section that gives me a lip to hit. So I'm going to perform a re-entry on a section like that. This turn here, I decided to opt for a carve because it was a little bit fatter, but it was steep enough that I could still do a carve in the pocket. If we have a look on my backhand now, we can see a similar turn. I'm setting up for that maneuver, and as I get to the lip, there wasn't actually a lip to hit. So I decided to do a carve in the pocket. You can see that in this section, however, I was presented with a lip and I was able to perform a re-entry. The next section, however, was a little bit fatter, so I decided to do a carve. And when a wave flattens out and doesn't give you a section which is steep enough to perform a carve, you simply do a roundhouse cutback. It then gives you a slingshot of speed off the foam, hopefully setting you up for an oncoming section.
Another common mistake which intermediate level surfers are making is that they stand really tall for the duration of their ride, and they rarely compress, which means they perform their turns standing tall. Now this results often in failure, lack of speed, and lack of success in your turns. So let's have a look at how those surfers who stand tall can actually improve their surfing by using a better blend of compression and extension.
Knowing when to compress your body and when to extend throughout a variety of turns is a crucial skill for any surfer, particularly the intermediate surfer looking to improve. In this example here, we'll see a whole range of compression and extension being used by me on this wave. So as I drop down, I compress as I enter my turn. As I exit the turn, I extend. These are some simple rules to follow. So as you enter a maneuver, you compress to help control and generate speed. As you extend out of a turn, an acceleration of speed. You then compress low to finish that maneuver to help control the speed as you come out of that turn. So compressing to enter a maneuver, extending as you come out of that turn, and then compressing to finish. Of course, this is different depending on what turn you're actually performing.
Surfing is a sport that requires us to use our arms, our torso, our legs, our core, everything. There's one part of the body which is commonly underused, and that's our arms. A lot of surfers try and surf with their arms by their side, tight to their body. So let's have a look at how those surfers could better use their arms.
As I lean into my bottom turn, you can see how my back arm comes forward and stays low to the wave. As I come out, you'll see it come back behind me. That change of direction helps generate torque and speed. Here you can see my arms out wide as I entered that turn. Having your arms like this creates balance, and it also helps put more weight onto your heels, creating more drive and putting more rail into the water, creating a more critical turn. To finish that turn, I then throw them up in the air. That means I generate lift and it helps release the tail. Here we can see my arms going up as I throw them to put my board up above the lip. I then point them to where I want to go. You can see that they're heading towards that direction. Here, I throw my arms once again to generate lift to perform this foam climb. And you can see that my arms are heading in that direction of where I want to go. And this is the same for your backhand. But notice here how my back arm goes back behind my body like that and then back in front of my body. That movement helps generate torque.
The last mistake we're going to talk about is not using your eyes enough. You must look where you want to go. It's the same as a beginner. We often teach beginners to look where they want to go so they can learn to ride along the wave, either to the right, to the left, or straight. But as an intermediate level surfer who wants to start turning and improving their turns, you must remember to look where you want to go. This is crucial, and it's particularly important for the intermediate level surfer. Many intermediate level surfers don't look where they want to go. They simply just lean into their turns and hope for the best. But by looking where you want to go, you use more power, you create more torque, which goes from the upper body down to the heels, which then translates into your surfboard, making your turns better and more powerful. Let's have a closer look at how surfers can use their eyes more effectively.
Many surfers just simply lean into their turns and they're not paying attention to where they're looking. But by paying attention to where you're looking, you'll find that your turns will improve. There's a reason for this. Check this out here. As I enter this maneuver, I spot the section and where I'm going to go, and I look. And then through my turn right here, you can see I'm looking back. Now the longer and the further I look back, the more that my board's actually on rail. So you can tweak this depending on the section you're presented with. You can see here that I'm going to keep looking even further again back to the foam. Because this section was fat, I'm going to do a roundhouse cutback and hit the foam. And that meant that my board was on rail for longer. Here you can see as I go up to hit this section, It's a more critical turn, so I have to look back quickly, and it's a sharper reaction. I have to look back to the bottom of the wave and explode quickly to finish that turn. In this turn here, I want to spin my board around to perform the reverse. So I keep looking, and you'll see here that I'm looking at the back of the wave, and then I keep looking back towards the beach to complete that turn. Pay more attention to where you're looking next time you go surfing, and I guarantee that you'll find that your surfing improves out of sight.
Thanks for watching the video today, guys. I hope that now you have a better understanding of the sorts of mistakes that intermediate level surfers are making and what you need to do to fix them. Remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below to let us know what other videos you'd like to see. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the surf.
Do you guys love to surf? Well, so do I. Now you can check out my latest range of clothing called I Love Surf.
And for a limited time only, with every purchase of I Love Surf clothing, you'll get a limited edition free How to Rip DVD.
Go to ilovesurf.co and you can find a range of clothing to suit your needs.